starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Crypto Night Show. Your host, Superman, in the house wearing his military greens because we're getting ready for war on the old PulseChain. We're getting ready for war. It's going to be fun. Anyway, jokes aside, hope you guys enjoy the show. We're going to be covering a lot of stuff today, a lot around Bitcoin. We're going to look at a lot of charts. We're going to look at Ethereum. We're going to hear from Tom Lee. We're going to get into PulseChain. We've got lots of updates happening in PulseChain. And of course, obviously, buying the dips. That's kind of what people are doing, I guess. Bring fresh capital in and picking up the dips there. So let's get into it. Don't forget to share the show around on X. Just take a moment to hit the repost button. Your daily show. Of course, the Crypto Night Show here, covering PulseChain, and of course 6 years. Crazy times. All right, so that is the link right there. We've got a little insightful update as well from Dirty Crypto. Summarizes things very well. So we're going to go through that again. That'd be pretty cool. Not again, but first time. So that's going to be cool. All right. So don't forget to get in the chat as well. Make it lively. That's all we can say. And just let me do a few of the socials first. Live show on now. What's that? All right. Do a bubble. All right. Let's post that. All right. Start the raid, as they say. Start the raid. All right. I like it. All right, so we're kicking that off. It's nice and strong. Let's jump out of Telegram, and if you're on Discord, of course, big welcome. It gets auto posted out to Discord, and if you're on X, don't forget to hit the repost button. As I say, take a moment to do that. And if you're on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe. If you're on X, don't forget to follow. All that good stuff. Because if you love daily content on PulseChain, covering all the markets, then this is the channel for you. This is the channel. All right, so let's get into the top of the news here. Let me just jump out of some of this, and let's go to the stock market and kick it off with that. As you guys know, we like to stay informed about what's happening around the space, not just crypto. So let's jump over to the news there for the stock market. Obviously, Thursday's results. We've got the S&P 500 slumps, surprising, after NVIDIA's really good results. And of course, forward projection looks really good for NVIDIA. That's going to fuel the whole AI. So I just see this bit of a dip today in that move, right, because of the employment data came out. So good employment data, less the rate cut. So that's the logic there. And so the market decided to take a bit more profit taking up, even after the NVIDIA good news there. Remember that NVIDIA is not the only one driving the market. We've got interest rates, obviously a big deal. And we've also got the Supreme Court and the Trump's emergency use of tariffs coming out as well. So Dow Jones at the moment is down 0.84%, 386 points to 45,752. We've got this S&P 500 down 1.5%, 103 points to 6,538. And then we've got the NASDAQ down 2.2%, down 486 points to 22,000. So now that we've had this, pretty decent little correction, the recovery rally should be pretty aggressive. So it's probably a good thing there. But we're going to hear Tom Lee's view on what's happening here in a minute. Let's quickly go to the US dollars at 106.00. So stronger US dollar. We've got the West Texas oil at the moment is weakening. So that's down 0.8% to $58.77. Brent oil is at $63. Just up slightly. Gold at the moment is at $4,076. That's down just slightly. And silver is at $50.35. Also down about 50 cents or 1% on silver. Like I say, NVIDIA there just giving up a little bit of its profits. But of course, the industry leaders like Jensen Huang there, CEO of NVIDIA, still seeing this as the mega cycle for the beginning of the intelligence age. So no change there. And I agree with him. We had non-farm payrolls come out. And of course, that further dents the rate cut. So that's probably the big mover today. Obviously, we're in the rate cycle decline, but a big pause is getting in the road for December at this stage. So at least in the near term, given the already rising level of trepidation regarding December rate cut, while far from robust, this morning's positive showing in job creation should solidity. I don't know if they use the right word there. Solidify, I guess, probably what they're trying to say, the Fed's position on the sidelines through at least end year. So we're expecting no change based on that. Non-farm payrolls came in at 119,000 in September, above the 50,000 expected, but the August figure saw a revised drop of 4,000, while the unemployment rate rose to 4.4%, a 4-year high, up from 4.3% level seen in the prior month. Now, obviously, they're going to want to see that drop, as we go. I guess they round up more. I don't know how many illegals they've got in that number, but they round up a few more of those. It might create a few higher unemployment filling those jobs. We'll just see. All right, let's go over to the rate monitor and jump up there. We've got the Fed rate monitor at the moment, 2 weeks, 5 days, and 20 hours. We've got 68% of the market expecting a no change in December, so it's definitely going against us. We had good news around the government, shutdown, reopening, so that was good news. We've got good news around the video. That was good news, but unfortunately, the interest rate's not quite going our way in the short term. There's just a short term. Of course, the rate cycle has begun, and we are expecting a quantitative tightening to move to neutral in December, and then quantitative easing maybe as early as December. We'll see, but certainly into January. So it's kind of where we're expecting things to go. And of course, that quantitative easing would mean more money and therefore more risk-on assets. So that's fuels the rally for 26, 27. In addition to all the investments that are being made this year, 21 trillion raised by Trump by the end of the year is expected, and therefore, the booming, all those plants are being made. All starts to pick up pace in 26, 27, and hence we get the golden age of America. We get quantitative easing, and of course the interest rate cycle continues, and therefore we're just on boom time, right? Boom, boom, boom. So it's a little bit delayed compared to what a lot of people would like, what we expected as well towards the end of the year. But we've still got, like I say, 4 or 5 months, so things can turn around very quickly. As you guys know, the top 20 days in the year are typically when money is made and lost, and so things can turn around pretty radically there. All right, and the correction may be almost over. We shall see. So that is where we're at right now, only a third expecting a rate cut, so just under a third. So that's going to lead us into crypto. So we're going to go there next, and then we're going to hear from Tom Lee, I think, after that. So let me just scroll back here. Oh, we're back. We're back there? Cool. All right. Thank you very much. All right. I'm going to pause that, and let's jump over here. We're going to have a look at the market cap. Man, I can't believe the crypto market cap right now on the pullback. So let's have a look at this. Pullback here. We're sitting at 3.084 trillion. We're almost back to 3 trillion. And crazy, eh? Down 2.8%. We got Bitcoin right now at 87,767. That is down 2.6% again today after our little recovery yesterday. We had a nice little recovery yesterday on the back of the NVIDIA news. And now we're back down to just below 87. So Ethereum at the moment is down 2.2% at 2,2900. We got XRP down 1.9% at $2.04. BNB down 1.2% at 880. Solana at number 6 is actually up 0.6%. So nice little move there. $135. And of course, we've been covering X1 from Jack Levin, kind of the Solana 2.0, as it were. So we'll keep track of that as well. We've got Tron at the moment, number 8, down 2% at 28 cents. And we've got Doge at number 10, down 0.5% at 15.2 cents. So not too bad there. And just an honorable mention will be Cardano or ADA there, down 3.1% at 44 cents. Best performer, obviously, over the last week has been BNB, actually, not Tron this time. So BNB only down 3.8%. And I guess that's all we can say about that. The top 100 performers, we've got StarkNet, the age of AI and the Terminator is up 57%. We've got Zcash there, up 37%. Asta at number 3, up 15.9%. Pi Network up 14%. And then we've got White Bitcoin up 8.2%. So they're top 5 in the last week on the top 100. So there we go. Top gainers over in the top 1,000. We've got Tensor, ETH 6900, and Dimensions with a Y, and they're all up pretty significantly there, as you can see. And finally, we've got the trending ETH 6900, Bitcoin, and Tensor trending at the moment, pretty similar to the top 1,000 gainers, actually. So yeah, man, almost 3 trillion in the market, just pretty insane. It is such a tiny market, even at 4.25 trillion. That was a tiny market, and still a very tiny market compared to world markets, right? Right. So let's hear from Tom Lee and get his perspective on where things are at the moment. So let's talk about that.
Limping along since October 10th, because on that date was a negative shock. I mean, today's stock market looks a lot like an echo of what happened October 10th. But on October 10th, that liquidation was so big, Brian, it really crippled market makers. And our market makers are critical in crypto because they provide liquidity. I mean, they act almost as the central bank in crypto. And if they've got a hole in their balance sheet that they need to raise capital for, they need to reflexively reduce their balance sheet, reduce trading, and if prices fall, they've got to then do more selling. So I think that this drip that's been taking place for the last few weeks in crypto reflects this market maker crippling. And so in 2022, it took 8 weeks for that to really get flushed out. We're only 6 weeks into it. So I kind of concur. I think crypto, Bitcoin and Ethereum are in some ways a leading indicator for equities because of that unwind and now this sort of limping and weakened liquidity.
Well, that was the point that my very, very smart team behind me, we put together for the top of the show, which was showing that Bitcoin turned down today before the market did. All right, take us back. So October 6th, I think it was October 6th or 7th, Bitcoin hit 125,000. Yeah, a couple days later, it was still around 120,000. Now, obviously, Bitcoin's at 86 and change. So what specifically occurred on or around October 10th that would lead us to where we are now on what, November 20th?
Yeah. Well, Steve actually pointed this out. There's a lot of what they call automated processes in crypto. One of them is called ADL, okay, and that's an automatic liquidation feature that would take place if someone's account or their collateral drops in price. It's essentially like a margin call. On a specific exchange, a stablecoin's price varied from other exchanges. It actually, stablecoin should stay at $1. It dropped to 65 cents. But that only happened within the exchange quotes, within this exchange because of liquidity. That triggered an ADL, an automatic liquidation across many accounts. It wiped out, as that spread across other exchanges, right? Because liquidations cascade. Almost 2 million crypto accounts got wiped out, even though minutes before they were actually profitable accounts.
So who is behind this? Like, who's the they in the market makers and they got hit? Who's the they?
Well, Brian, I am aware of names, but because I'm not someone who wants to name names, I think what you should keep in mind is that this error is actually essentially a bug, a code error, because I think in retrospect, they would have pulled pricing from across exchanges to set the price for that stablecoin rather than relying on internal quotes. But this has resulted in a lot of market makers and traders having less capital. And as you know, as crypto prices drift lower because trading volumes drop, they need to then have more capital available, which means they shrink their balance sheet further. So this is then that reflexive weakening.
I want to go back to this point, Tom. I hate the term glitch. I can't stand the term glitch because, things go down at the airport and they say, well, a glitch caused your flight to not take off. That's not a glitch. That's more than a glitch. It's a word that is used to describe pretty serious automation issues, software problems, crashes, for some reason that they try to minimize. Is this some kind of a software bug that's causing part of this? I'm trying to follow exactly what you're hinting around about.
Brian, it is. For instance, in 1987, portfolio insurance was the, quote, glitch, and that triggered the cascade in 1987. And so the industry learned and then never offered that again. In 2009, it was really the collateral wasn't secure in real estate in these packaged subprime mortgages. Now, the industry learned and they recoded that. I'm talking about Wall Street, but then regulators came in and over-regulated. That was the negative effect of that. In crypto, this code of ADL and the way they pull prices is never going to happen again. the good news is we're not going to have overregulation in crypto, but now we have to deal with that liquidation effect. 2022 was a big liquidation, and it took 8 weeks. But that is kind of, you're right. It is the nature of DeFi, where there is going to be code and there's going to be an error found, and you said it. Leverage is what's dangerous, and so investors should not be using excess leverage in crypto.
All right, so that was an insight there from Tom Lee about the I guess the extended pullback in crypto and the weakness that's there because of market makers being hit by that bug 6 weeks ago, and it's still playing out. So that's actually modifying his own view about where crypto is going to be because the second half of November, of course, he was fairly bullish. He did say the first 2 weeks were going to be volatile. And the second 2 weeks would be a pickup. So we already entered into the second 2 weeks. So now he's talking about potentially we could go up to 8 weeks. So that would clear out his original prediction of a bullish November. So that leaves us into December and maybe even, let's say at the earliest, maybe late November, before we really get a pickup here and the market makers end up recovering and pushing the price back higher. So that's kind of the view there from Tom Lee, and may provide some of the key explanations there, what's going on in the market. All right, so let's jump back, at least in the short term. Let's jump back into the Bitcoin price, have a quick look at that. So Bitcoin at the moment is, we've got the weekly here, so the weekly candles showing that Bitcoin weekly candle is at, what is that here? Let's see, $100,249 for the 50-day. And the 200-day at $66,181, and we're currently at $87,500. So obviously breaking down through there. We haven't really reached, because we're in new territory, right? We don't have any historical comparisons, but we do have the fact that we faced a bit of resistance around this level back in March, and that's kind of where we are right now. I guess the bottom of that would be 78,000, which I think we talked about yesterday. If we were going to do a further retrace over the next week, and then 58K will probably be the next area of support around that mark. So we'll see how we get on in that respect. In terms of the daily, let's have a look here. The daily here, let's have a look on that. So the daily, let's see if it updates in time. Still thinking. Reload. We'll try a reload. Change that to the weekly again. So daily, I mean. Get rid of the overlays. Oh, not lock it down. We'll get rid of the overlays. And as at the moment, you can see we've got that death cross on the daily, right? So that would be suggestive. Obviously, that's played out pretty well so far. And so that does make, probably the chance of getting down to that 78K is definitely a reasonable one, right? So over the next week. So we'll see how we get on. Nothing's inevitable because we haven't really got any history here. But 77, 78 might be the point on the bearish scenario where we bounce from. So we'll keep an eye on that. And otherwise, we're currently at just below 88,000. So that's around about a further $10,000 that potentially we could go down to, given the fact we've just entered the death cross. But we'll see. We'll see whether there's any news that's going to pick us up. Maybe good news around the Supreme Court. I'm not sure we've heard anything about that. And the tariffs, maybe something that Trump delivers that the market really likes, and things pick up. The stock market itself may turn around as well. That may help stop the bleeding also. But we'll see what happens. That's kind of the bearish scenario. Obviously, the bullish scenario would be some sort of catalyst news there. And maybe a new market maker comes in and helps push it back up. We shall see. We know that Michael Saylor from Strategy is talking about their target is 1 million coins. I think they're somewhere in the ballpark of around 650,000 or so. And he's talking about potentially they might end up picking up 1.5 million coins. So this seems to be a lot of a balance sheet buying from them to keep buying, and they'll see this dip, and they'll just keep buying, right? So that is the play on the Bitcoin. Moving to the Bitcoin performance for the month. Well, we're currently down 20.6%, the opposite of what we expected, right? So the opposite, expected to have a green month for November and December to be green. Now, December is still to play out. So if Tom Lee's right, and we end up flushing out, the liquidity cascading from that bug from exchange, then then December could be finally the green month that we're expecting, and presumably we'll get that first quarter next year with interest rate cuts as well, being pretty hyper green as well. Now, last year, of course, we got 43% in February. Let's see what we get in December and January, February. Now, the thing about January, of course, the end of December, January, we have the very quiet period between Christmas time and around about the 10th of January, when people are still off on holidays and things like that, and they're coming back after that, right? So we'll see what happens after the Christmas holidays through to the 10th there, when people start coming back, and that's normally pretty quiet. But that could lead us into a pretty bullish second half of January into February and March, right? So that's kind of where we're looking for, and we've still got those interest rate cuts expected then. So just a little pause in the matrix at the moment. We'll question mark over December and see how we get on from there. But of course, any surprises around inflation or so may also fuel into the interest rate cuts and flip that around, and we'll see. We'll find out. All right. So Bitcoin dominance at the moment is kind of looking friendly for altcoin season a little bit. We're currently at 59%. Of course, if we get a repump in the Bitcoin, that may mean that the altcoin season is a bit delayed further into next year, right? So we'll keep a lookout for that. But at the moment, it's kind of looking altcoin kind of friendly at 59%. Just remember the last bull market in January 21. When that was the beginning of the bull market, we had the Bitcoin dominance at 73%. And of course, recently we've been as high as about 65, 66%, and come down to a low of 57. And we do seem to be getting lower highs at the moment. So this is definitely a lower high at 60% from 66. So yeah, maybe we're getting there pretty close for the altcoin season there as well. We also got the moving averages kind of moving in our favor as well, with the short-term average 50 day there, 50 weeks, sorry, also potentially moving down, and that would possibly bring on altcoin season. So that's kind of where we are with the Bitcoin dominance. Let's go to Ethereum chart at the moment. This is the weekly as well. We can see Ethereum, the weekly 50 weekly moving average is at 3,327. The 200 weekly moving average is at 2,600. And we're currently right in the middle, basically at just below 2,900 right now. Pretty incredible to be able to get Ethereum under 3,000 again as well, given all the strategic ETH reserves, and ambitions. We've definitely seen a big slowdown though. So Bitmine Immersion has been the only one that's consistently been buying every week. So Tom Lee is not, he's taking the opportunity, and I think it's amazingly smart. I think Tom Lee is doing an amazing job there, picking up the Ethereum here. A lot of the other ETH reserves that are probably going to continue to pick up Ethereum are not really doing it at the moment, and they're going to regret it later on. They will regret it later on. So Tom Lee there is buying when everyone else is not buying, and getting his 5% position in Ethereum, which I think is going to be an absolute dream run after that. So we've got that sitting right in the middle right now for the weekly. And we got we're quite clear, we've got no issues there. Let's go to the daily. We've still got a bit of room in the daily there. We are coming up to a death cross though, but will it be averted? That's the question. Will it be averted? We'll have to keep pace on the next week to see what happens here. But we've got the 50-day at 3,650, and we've got the 200-day at 3,550. So we've got a $100 gap there. And we'll see if we can get a bit of support. We are coming into a bit of resistance areas here at the price that we've bounced today, so 2,800. That's kind of the beginning of the resistance area. The bottom of that zone is 2,400, which would be an absolute dream to pick up Ethereum right now. And you know that Tom Lee is going to be picking it up down here. This is just a dream place to pick it up, and he'll be definitely watching that potential death cross there on Ethereum coming up. Now Bitcoin's already hit. So we'll keep a look out there. But I think Tom Lee's going to win the day, even with the short-term dip, right? Short-term dip. We've got a few comments in the chat there. We've got Sean and Mally in the house, buying the dips, baby. Absolutely. Morning all. A big shout there, Sean. We've got MVS Crypto from the Master Thread, editor-in-chief, and, of course, the promotional lead for the Crypto Night Show. Big shout out. Always doing a great job out there. And I love a man of conviction, Tom Lee. And that's a really good line. I think that's a really well said there. Deserving of a magical twinkle today, Sean. Deserving a magical twinkle. That's kind of where we are right now on the ETH USDC. So we'll see what happens over the next week. Kind of potentially, Tom Lee did have indications that this week would be the low, and that could still play out, right? It's good to still play out. So we'll see how that goes. And then will we get a vicious bounce into December? That's the question, right? Even with the interest rate cuts not looking likely at this stage. All right, so talking about Tom Lee, we've got our latest disclosure from Tom Lee from the 15th. Took a little while to get put up here, but it's up here today. And it is Bitmine immersion, accumulated another 54,000 Ethereum. Now we know since the 15th they have bought more Ethereum, so they're not mucking around, guys. They're not mucking around. So you can see if you look at the recent updates on here, you can see the updates are pretty clear on the Bitmine immersion there. And 154,000 ETH, 110,000, 82, 11, so just the last three there. And no one else is really there, right? So Tom Lee, the man of conviction, as Sean quite nicely said, quite nicely put, is sitting at 3.56 million Ethereum right now, and they'll be looking to load up as much as they can at these lower prices, raising fresh cash or issuing new shares, whatever they're going to do. It's going to be pretty fun to see. Typically they also might recycle their shares, right, to buy more Ethereum, load that up too. So at the moment, that's sitting at just over $10 billion. Sharplink, of course, we haven't seen much movement from them, or ETH Machine neither. All of them have ambitions to get some pretty big positions. You're talking about 5% and apparently 10%, although I have not seen that in print. And then, of course, we've got others down here, Bit Digital, Golem and Mantle, Ethzilla, all these guys, but BTCS, particularly down here a bit further, we've got FG Nexus. They're talking about $20 billion. We have not seen any of that really yet, but Tom Lee is the man of conviction, and he is still going. And so the others will all have to pay a higher price, probably long after he's got to his 5%. So 'cause he's well on track, right? He's well on track. And he'll be consuming, spending as much Ethereum this year as he can, right? So he's at 60% almost of the target, and so that's game on there. So I'm really liking what I'm seeing there. All right, so the mega theme's not really going away. Tokenization, the Genius Act. We're probably going to have the Clarity Act before the end of the year. We could get White House declarations of buying not only Bitcoin but altcoins as well. And the altcoin stockpile. Lots of things could be becoming very, very closely. And Ethereum would be the other preferred one besides Bitcoin, right? Because of the smart contract domination, tokenization from Wall Street, from the SEC plan, and of course, the sovereign states and institutions that are piling in slowly and surely into crypto. And I've always said, the institutions are always going to be, it's going to be like a 5 to 7 year roll-in from institutions. It takes a while for them to change their risk profiles and of course to get general acceptance. But I think ever since we I think we've had that for probably 18 months or so, specifically since we had the ETFs. So maybe 2 years even. So I think that's just a process that takes time for institutions. But once the United States starts buying, they've got a neutral budget buy position, then that will really accelerate. So we could get absolute fireworks coming into 2026, and that could trigger in December when we get the Clarity Act kicking in. So even though we might not get interest rates, the Clarity Act might be that catalyst that we're looking for the main move up, right? And once the market makers are in strong position, could be absolute game on. So we'll keep tabs on all those variables, but that is some of the drivers we're looking forward to. And of course, Tom Lee charging ahead there. Pretty cool. Now, obviously, we've been tracking Ethereum on the exchanges, and we can see Ethereum down the bottom here did on the 16th there, got to as low as 15.5 million. Remember when the strategic ETH reserve started buying at the end of June, for the most part, there was one exception there before, but essentially buying from the 1st of July. We were up at 20.2 million ETH was on exchanges, 20.2 million ETH. And remember, there's only 22 million ETH in existence. And so 20.2 million ETH was on exchanges. And so that's like 1/6. And now that has been, since the strategic ETH reserves and obviously other players have been buying, it's fallen all the way down to 15.5. It's just popped up a little bit now at 15.6, probably due to, fear. And so people are putting a little bit more Ethereum on exchanges, but essentially that is down 4.4 million Ethereum. Isn't that crazy? So 4.4 million or so Ethereum is off the exchanges since in that monthly periods, which is building up that long term view of higher prices, right? So it's pretty exciting. All right, so that is where we are with Ethereum. So that's a kind of, I said we're going to have a pretty decent little overview of quite a few of those charts. So you guys enjoyed that. There's a lot of other stuff we could bring on when we will do that around the economy and have a little zoom on that too around manufacturing and some of the investment numbers and timeframes, right? Kind of cool. Remember, one of the big things that we got this year, which is a mega catalyst for the golden age of America, it was the new tax act, and of course extending tax cuts and things like that. And that had 100% capital expensing for factories for the first year. So that is massive, guys. That is huge. And that's what's really started to rally a lot of plant production. So we're looking forward to see the fruits of that. Now, some of it will be related to automation and profitability. Others will actually deliver a lot of new jobs, and not only in construction, but also in operations afterwards. So it's going to be fun to see all that play out. All right, so that's kind of where we are on the old Ethereum. Let me jump over. We're going to go to PulseChain next. You guys ready? You guys ready for PulseChain? We're going to go to PulseChain. I just realized I haven't got things in the right order, so let me get things in the right order here. And we're going to jump around there. Let me look at that. We're going to talk about that. I'm going to go back there. And yeah, so we've got a few things here to talk about. So let's get into PulseChain. Can you believe it? Day 923. I can't believe it. It's just ticking away there. 923, guys. Crazy. If you guys haven't shared the show around on X, just give it a repost on X. And if you haven't followed the channel, you love daily PulseChain content. That's Kryptonite Show is the only large influencer show doing daily content covering PulseChain, and we don't do much drama. We just cover the markets and the news. So it's all just all alpha drops as much as we can, and if someone's providing some insights, we're going to cover that too. So if you like that content, get into it. There's every other show out there is just about got all the other stuff. So there we go. You can go watch them. All right, so that is where we are right now. Let's get into Pulse right now. It is day 923. We're at quadruple 0188, down 5.2%. Pulse X at the moment, quadruple 0117, down 7.9% almost. So a big day drop there for Pulse X. We've got Ink Token at the moment just below 80 cents, down 3.5%. And we've got Hex on PulseChain. It's insane. Hex on PulseChain price is insane. If you're not scooping up some of this goodness, I don't know what you're doing. But it is at 3,900, just below 3,900 of a penny, down 4.2%. And EHEX right now, 1,100th of a penny right now for EHEX. Combined price of EX and PX has dropped below half a cent. We're at 49.8. So it's crazy. So just below half a penny right now. It is insane. What a time to scoop a looper duper at the moment. So do what you will, but it is pretty crazy. And Sean O'Malley is he's onto it, buying the dips, baby. Yeah, just insane opportunity right now. Now, the thing about smaller liquidity, we're going to talk about that at the moment. So we've seen millions of dollars going out of the LP pools right now. That's a very bullish sign, guys. I know it seems counterintuitive, but it's a very bullish sign of the reversal, right? And the reversal could be quite mighty. So we're going to talk about that later on. Hold on to your hat for that. So picking up these dips, particularly when there's a lot of fear out there, can be a good play if you're in a position to do that, of course. All right, so that's where we are on the market. So still another pullback on the old PulseChain. Let's go have a look at the gas prices. We've got just below 300,000 beats at the moment. So on the cheap side, 2 cents for a PulseX swap, super duper cheap. We've got validators at the moment, 51,985. That's picked up a little bit from yesterday, so it's kind of cool. And we've got the bridge activity. Let's have a look where we are, $81.6 million. We're not going to go through the breakdown because we did that yesterday, but let's pull up PulseChain stats, which we're going to talk about later anyway. And let's go have a look at the bridge data. I always forget to pull this one up. That's why I always have to do it on the fly. Do it on the fly, as they say. And let's pull up the bridge stats. We're going to go daily inflow, outflow. And let's see what the bridge results are here for the snap. This UTC snapshot, which I think is around about now. I'm not exactly sure where the time is. Yeah, we got $590,000 in. We got 1.5 million out, so we're down $1 million, which is pretty severe. So the day before, when we did the snapshot, right at the same time, we were up $250,000. So it was really great, and we thought, oh, maybe we'll get a bit of bit of a reversal there, but unfortunately we got $1 million out today, which is pretty significant, right? It's a pretty significant amount of money. In particular, it was around ETH, DAI, and USDC, so it was a bit of all of it there on the day. Now we're going to get a new snapshot shortly, I think. I don't think we're quite there on the UTC, and we'll see what that comes in, and we'll probably check that tomorrow because it'll be after the live stream. But that's probably about to, probably about to update is my guess, because it is 24 hours, every 24 hours UTC time. Not sure what UTC time is at the moment. Let's have a quick look. UTC, and it's supposed to be midnight. Let's see what time it is right now. So yeah, in an hour and 30 minutes, we'll have a new snapshot. So this will be old. This is almost 11, 20, 21, almost 22 and 45 minutes from the previous day. So we're going to have new snapshots in about an hour and a quarter. But unfortunately, it's after the live stream, so we won't know what today's one is. But yesterday's increase was a new record, and that was a couple of weeks back. So held time for 12 hours. I'm not endorsing any of these. Of course, we get new tokens all the time, and sometimes they're related to teams and people. Sometimes they're not. But we've got Flare XD up 46%. It's been around for 12 hours. I'm not sure what's in that, so we'll have a quick look. I'm not endorsing it though. Just remember that because I haven't checked it out. We'll just have a quick look there. Innovative deflationary token. Obviously, the charts is being pumped and dumped. Most likely a pump tires. Got a website, but I have no idea, so we're not going to look at that until I've had a check of it. But there we are. If you do want to check out tokens, one good person to go to see is CryptoSolve. He does a lot of token updates, but typically they're after the launch. But there are a couple of places you can go check tokens and things like that. So just remember, be safe out there. Be safe out there. Now we've got one here. This is from the Sacrifice. There's a Sacrifice pool, and I suggest not participating in this. This is set up by B Roots and Ian Heinisch, but it really is not good in my view. So I do, suggest you not do that. We're going to talk about that later on. But once again, you do what you will, you do what you want. But I'm just saying, I think it's a bad deal, bad deal indeed. All right, so we've got SOAP right now. SOAP there is up 20%. Right now it's been around for 4 hours, so I don't know who's doing that either. It's got some support there. Someone's paid for some promotion. Wash your bags. I'm not sure what this one's about either. SOAP is a PulseChain meme coin to wash your dirty bags. 31% burn. So I'm not sure what team or whoever's running that, but once again, not endorsing. Just looking at what's on the top 100, right? That's what I do every day. UFO right now is up 5%. Whale Bay, been around for 8 months, up 5% as well. P Tiger, well, Tiger's been doing pretty well with this actually, 2.7%. Let's see what the chart looks like at the moment. Has had some profit taking. So even him with his crew, who are looking to do promotion stuff, and they can't protect it. And this is exactly what we thought might happen. And here it has happened, right? This is crypto. There's the markets, is how it goes. But it is holding up still pretty well at the moment at 1388 after that big dip today. So there we go. What else we got going? Let's scroll down here a little bit. We got 9inch at the moment, up at 2%. We got the Trooper up at 0.75%. Love.io from Anderson up 0.75%. We got Ink Dollar, of course, is a stable coin, but it is actually up 0.5%. Good one, Fast Abdul, good one. We got Fetch Oracle there at the moment, up 0.5%. BBC is up a little bit, along with the 9inch up there with the Hexy Bastard. And we've got the world's greatest PDI printer up slightly as well. So not much happening on the old PulseChain. 14 in the green on the trending. Everything else is in the red, as you can see. So what's in the red the most? Let's go have a look. What is down the most at the moment? So let's see here. We got Yoink, Hex, Peahen, SolidX. SolidX at 83 cents at the moment. Now I do understand. Now we've been keeping an eye on what Firewall has been doing. I have seen a few Telegram comments that have been posted on X, basically talking about him not going to be pumping these tokens, and obviously he's not very happy with some of the actors on the PulseChain. how it's treated his project launches and things like that. Now that's a big area of discussion. I'm not going to do that on here, but if you're in Discord, then we'll talk about it there. So yeah, we're not expecting too much action from there at the moment. We did see a little pump in SolidX yesterday, but not looking to see too much there. Now the question around X Game, of course, and decentralized casino rollout. We're going to keep an eye out on that, but I haven't seen any specific things on that at the moment. So question mark there on the old X Game. Sometimes launches and launch strategies have to be well thought out. Sometimes they don't work out as well, particularly when you've got crypto tokens involved and ownerships involved. So we're just going to keep an open mind on that moment. But the market has decided whether you like it or not where things are at the moment. So we'll see what happens in that space. Sparta at the moment is down here as well with Hex down. Obviously Hex down, so all the Hex treasuries are down, no doubt. Hex. I thought there'd see one or two other Hex derivatives down there. Can't see them at the moment. What else there? Vouch on the back of PulseChain. PulseChain's down, so Vouch is down 11% there as well. But vouchers, I consider that a blue chip. But it does, a lot of these things have people running things, running shows. So remember, it's people can people can disappoint, people can be bad actors, and we've had a couple of those recently. It's not too much you can do it. There's very little true DeFi. People throw DeFi term around. You've heard Tom Lee throwing it around. Well, there's DeFi and there's DeFi, isn't it? There's very little true DeFi, and a lot of DeFi has got little controls in it. It's partly DeFi, and it's got a lot of people involved, and there are good actors and bad actors. And sometimes it's just like having friends. You trust a friend for a while. Maybe the friend turns out to be your best friend forever. Maybe the friend turns out to be a short-term friend for about a couple of months because they betrayed you or something like that. That's the usual thing. Life lessons are learned, and so there we go. Let's just take note of that. When you're looking at a project, always important to look at the people, the track record, and if you don't know the track record, you've got to spend a little bit of time understanding the person and whether they are the real deal. That's the kind of thing. It's a bit like making friends at high school or something. I don't know. You get the idea. All right, so that's kind of the play there at the moment. Peacock at the moment also under a little bit of pressure, down 8.9% at sitting at 8,100 a penny, but actually probably holding up relatively well compared to where Pulse is at the moment. So there we go. Pump Tires is down 8.8% as well. 9mm is down 8%. So 9mm, another one of the big blue chips there, the second biggest DEX. That's down as well because Pulse is down, right? So when we get Pulse on a reversal, then all these should logically go up with the market, right? So, and we've got the Richard Hart cores down as well. So no surprises there with the market down. Yep, so that's pretty much it there at the moment. So we're going to scroll back up here. We've got Bria in there. Just going to mention that quickly. I think that the community in Bria needs to do a lot of work. Grumpy's about the only person I see doing good stuff out there. And, that they need to do some stuff there. But Coinwell is coming. And so if Bria's the AI agent and all the good stuff there, they get support, then, could see that fly as well at some stage. Time Dividend, of course, doing a great job. But once again, PulseChain's down. So Time Dividend's down too, right? So there we go. All right, so that's kind of a summary there of our top 100. Hope you guys enjoyed that. And let's go into some of the insights today. Shall we do that? Let's get into some more positive insights there. Brennan says, hey, how's Super? RH streaming still this year? Well, he said it 1 or 2 days. He said he had to take a few notes. We haven't seen anything yet. And so he did have the website to update and things like that. So I guess he's still working on a few things there, Brennan. But maybe this weekend, you never know. Maybe this weekend we shall see. Maybe the 10th of 2nd of December when the 21-day base rate finishes. There's all sorts of possible timings there. We'll see what he does. Yeah, maybe a Christmas stream. Maybe. Well, the end of the 59-day sack period is the 10th of January, and that's also when people come back from holidays. And like we said, it's a quiet period in crypto generally, and so yeah, maybe that's when he does something. Maybe we have a New Year's Eve God mode candle. There's all sorts of possibilities there. He can front run. I think he can front run a little bit. It's kind of a bit counterintuitive, I guess, to the sacrifice process, but he can front run a little bit the end of the sacrifice period. Take any of those key points in the sacrifice phases, as we say. There's 3 of them, right? 3 of them, or 4 of them actually, if you take the end date. We've got Luna in house there. Hey gang, good to see you, Luna. Big shout out. Welcome to the chat. Luck in the profile pic there. Looks cool. Right, so let's get into the news and the insights. So, we got a few updates from Liberty Swap, so I want to go through these. Liberty Swap, of course, is a key player in the technology rollout at the moment on PulseChain, and I'm glad to see them back on track and really just doing some great leadership and great great rollouts there. Now, like I said about finding good friends, in DeFi. There's very little DeFi, as I say. I say it again because people think that there's like full on heaps of DeFi out there. When we're saying DeFi all the time, we're not meaning just completely immutable contracts running their own code. There's seemingly very few of those around. A lot of protocols have a lot of control dials. You can call them God mode keys, whatever you want to call them, features and things like that, right? And so it is what it is. Also roadmaps too, right? Like secondary projects that are fundamental to the value creation. There's lots of things that you can think about around that. Anyway, so Peacock Liberty Swap here. Most meme coins on new chains get 10% slippage on a $1,000 buy, 20% slippage on a $10,000 buy. Peacock, however, has 3.7% slippage on 10,000 and 6.77% slippage on 20K. This means the LP is strong, thick, and high quality. There we go. So that is a little demonstration there of a 1 billion pulse buy of Peacock, which is around $20,000, what at least it was when I was doing it. And the slippage there, 6.77%. You can pick up 2.1 million Peacock with that. So that gives you an idea. And you guys know that one of their big strategies, of course, has been to take a lot of the fees, not all the fees, but take a lot of the fees and buy Pulse, have pair it with their Treasury Peacock and put it into the LP to thicken up the LP. That makes it easier for entries, exits, of course, but also means that it's got more price support, generally speaking, as well. And of course, that one of the other things we've been seeing is the expansion of LP pools, not only by Liberty Swap, but by teams, buying Peacock and pairing up with it. And now there's something like 220 pairs or something like that at the moment. So it's kind of an expansion we've been excited to see. So not bad there, not bad there. Need staking for Peacock? No, the best staking for Peacock is just holding it in your cold wallet and let the buy and burn do its job. So it's kind of cool. So, they've got different mechanisms that they can do in terms of buying and selling. So that's kind of cool from them. Now, I just wanted to move back up here and go through the rest of it. So the next post after that one was, of course, the good morning post. So they had good morning here from Liberty Swap. I'm not sure how I got lost here. I got lost somehow in the old Liberty Swap. How did I do that? No, we got the Liberty Swap here. So we got the good morning post 6 hours ago. I'm going to have to scroll back down because I lost my position on here. 6 hours ago. So there we go. We got good morning PulseChain. More upgrades are rolling out today. The market is dumping, but we keep peacocking, and this is really great. This is why good leadership here. Thank you, brother. We stayed true to the mission and our message. We will make it through this and find the glory through our coins. So it's kind of cool. So we got some good leadership happening there, and they're still doing more developments. 5 hours ago, another morning, just like yesterday and the day before. I'm consistent and patient. Nothing can stop me. I'm here to help everyone keep buying the dips of our beloved coins. PulseChain stays strong, zero or hero. Of course, the one that Richard, the phrase that Richard was mentioning the other day, Richard Hart. Excuse me. It was a smoker's cough. No, I'm just kidding. I don't smoke. Observe the price of Pulse closely. Yeah, that's probably the key there. Anyway, we have zero leverage positions. Everything is cash buybacks on Pulse and ETH. We are betting on the success of PulseChain and Ethereum. We are betting on Liberty Swap, Peacock, and Pump Tires, right? So that's very important. Now, this brings up a couple issues, right? So, a lot of other chains will have a lot of leverage in them. We do have, obviously, the GMX fork by PH Universe, which is the famous one. That's not. I don't think there's many people using that at the moment. We certainly had high usage early on, and then we also have Nexion, which has got a 10x leverage as well. Which I'm not sure how many people are using that at the moment, but we've got those two offerings at least that I'm aware of on PulseChain that do leverage plays. So the PulseChain is not really highly leveraged, and we do have a sort of 1-to-1 leverage out there. A lot of that, those sort of levels, but not 2, 3 plus 2 to 30x is what I'm talking about with those other products. So, we've got RVs and RV forks where people can borrow money and all that sort of stuff, but that's kind of where we are. Now, obviously, we've got liquidity forks at the moment. They'll be under duress, right, arguably, with the PulseChain cores going down, and whether that causes any major system-wide liquidation events, things like that. So that's something worth keeping on tab on as well. We've got 4 liquidity forks coming up at the moment. So it's going to be interesting to see that. We have 0 leverage positions. Everything is cash buybacks and Pulse and ETH. We are betting on the success of PulseChain and Ethereum. We are betting on Liberty Swap, Peacock, and Pump Tires. And so we like to see that. That's pretty cool. Even mental game here, an influencer on X with all of that. PulseChain going to surprise every bear at time nobody would expect, and 100% there from the team there. So kind of cool. So we're getting some good leadership there. Let's keep scrolling up. Here's just an alert about liquid loans and liquidity forks. And liquidity loans and liquidity forks, what happens to TCR drops to 150%. So that's the total collateral ratio, right? Recovery mode turns on, and you don't want to be part of that. Volts 150% collateral ratio get liquidated. Borrowing is restricted. The system auto corrects itself until TCR goes back up. At this point, the protocol takes more aggressive action there at the moment. So apparently, the TCR at the moment is still at 276%. So still far away from 150 based on that. So yeah, observe the price of PLS closely because you don't want to be caught up in that if you're on a liquidity fork, particularly Pulse, of course. The state USDL around 3 million can be withdrawn to repay the loan and reclaim the collateral, which lowers the liquidation risk there. If the loan is held by different entities, they might not react quick enough, so be aware of risk. So that is true. And someone asked, what Pulse price does this happen? I wonder. And Liberty Swap indicated, and potentially if we got to quadruple 01 would be crazy. So that's still a while away yet at the moment, but we're not still. Well, I guess it's not that far away, which is probably just another 50%. 45% reduction or whatever where we are now. Price under quadruple 015 will be raise a red flag. So we are getting close to those times, so people need to be careful there. All right. So that is some issues around that, which I thought was a pretty good highlight from them. Now, 4 hours ago, over 100 million Pulse pulled back into the nest, and half an ETH stacked in fee in one night. Keep peacocking. So isn't that great? They're accumulating these fees. They're really making them super strong there, and that's good news, right? So good news there from the peacocks. Those treasuries feeding up, they're fueling up. Liberty Swap says you cannot be bullish on crypto while being bearish on Richard Art and PulseChain. He carries the spirit of that built this industry in the first place. What is it? The cyberpunk drive and the commitment to real decentralization. So some really good leadership coming from them. Let's scroll up a bit further here. 3 hours ago. Now, this is probably pretty significant, right? So we talked about we're going to get a new snapshot of the bridge in about an hour's time. We've got this from Liberty Swap. So $150,000 in wrapped ETH bridged from Ethereum, 61,000 USDC bridged from Ethereum there. And let us eat the dip and make it count. So presumably this is Liberty Swap money. We've seen some of that earlier in the week. I wonder what they're going to buy. And he goes, silly, stupid, and core coins. And there we go. Tied to you and my ETH. So yeah, it's not a different story there. So we will see. We'll see there. Our protocol moved coins. RH bridged over. Our protocol moved coins of PulseChain. So it does look like Liberty Swap was the one that pulled over this money. So they're up to big plans. And just when you think, they've got all this money coming over, pretty interesting. This team seems to be well funded. They seem to be a big team and well funded. So pretty interesting happening there. All right, so that is from them right now. And as you guys know, we are coming up. We're counting it down to Railgun to PulseChain Bridge. Goes live for privacy-enabled transfers. This is the next mega utility infrastructure on PulseChain, and it is only days away. In fact, 10 days. Is it 10 days away? Less than, probably about 10 days away. So the 10-day countdown is on for Railgun to PulseChain Bridge. This is awesome, and it's going to be even bigger than that because it's going to be tied into what I'm trying to say here. It's going to be tied into Tornado Cash and everything else, and lots of fancy little offerings in there that the team is going to be creating. So huge stuff happening there. Now that brings us into Dirty Crypto, who's done a nice little summary about a lot of the stuff that's coming up for the Liberty Swap, and of course he ties it into PDI as well, which is obviously getting supported there with the buy and burn from Liberty Swap the other day with the last update on the 15th. Dirty Crypto says PulseChain ready for Liberty Swap and PDI Alpha. In the last 2 days, millions have been pulled from Pulse liquidity pools what does this mean? So obviously millions being millions from the actual LP pools in dollars. And so that's been a pretty big deal there. Low liquidity gives you the ability to move price upwards with velocity. And we know Rich has talked about this a lot. So let's listen to see what Dirty Crypto summarized. A lot of stuff that I often talk about. So we'll just go with this right down here. Something special happened with liquidity, hit the bottom on September the 1st, 2024, shown in the image. We'll go have a look at that in a minute. Pulse price went up 180% in 90 days. PDI price went up 2,200% in 90 days. Yes, you read that correctly. PDI went up 23x in less than 3 months. Everything is connected to Pulse. So when it rises, everything gets dragged up due to Hart's law. Inc. token rewards were slashed by 33x, giving less incentive to participate in providing LP. To PulseChain farms, this is by design. OA staked 95% of the entire HEX supply, purposely cutting inflation and potential sell pressure. We are operating in a low inflation and liquidity environment. So, nicely set up there by Richard Hart for the most part. Obviously, other players do play a role in all that, but typically they've tended to increase that outcome on the back of Richard Hart's moves. All of the 171,000 ETH have been tornadoed. Railgun is coming to PulseChain November the 30th, so we're on a 10-day countdown to that. LibertySwap is planning to implement Tornado Railgun in swaps and enabling the full privacy package. And remember, they earn fees for doing that. Those fees there will outsupport LibertySwap's treasury and, of course, Peacock itself. Of course, the utility meme that may, try and attempt to get in the top billion-dollar meme coins. And that would also put PulseChain on the map as well if we get one of those meme coins on the chain, right? LibertySwap is planning to implement Tornado Cash Railgun swaps, enabling a full privacy package. That's also going to be a big step forward for PulseChain as a privacy chain, and particularly ahead of Ethereum there. So PulseChain is front-running Ethereum's privacy roadmap. It's an extension of Ethereum, the Freedom Chain there, and the People's Chain, Freedom Chain. December the 1st there, quantitative tightening ends. More interest rate cuts to follow. Are you ready for what comes next? And of course, they got a little clip there of the post there from LibertySwap. I'll just read it out at the top here. It's got, I monitor the Pulse and stablecoin LPs every few hours to adjust the slippage for our swaps. When liquidity thins out, large orders cause high price impact, which increases the chance of failed swaps. I keep seeing the liquidity dropping and the price impact rising. This pair was over $6 million, then $4.7 million, and then when I woke up, it was $3 million there. So talking about the Pulse pair. While the price barely moved, I have not had the time. I've not had time to check whether the LP is moving there. Could be interesting. Yes, in the last 2 days, millions have been withdrawn from the PLS LPs. So they've been withdrawn as well. So the liquidity has been actively thinned out with dropping the LP supply in the down market. So it all looks pretty intentional and getting ready for the counter move at some stage coming up. So the reversal that everyone's looking there. So kind of cool, and it gets that. I guess that comes back to the comment at the top here, which is the last time we saw something like that, 1st September. Pulse went up 180% in 90 days. PDI went up a lot as well, so we could see quite the reversal coming up at some stage. So keep a lookout for that. So that was a pretty good post there from Dirty Crypto summarizing that. Now we have had other good news on PulseChain. Obviously, we've been covering a bit of that, but PulseChain Stats, which is our latest big stats information site, they've launched a PulseChain portfolio tracker, which is pretty comprehensive. A lot of people have been after a comprehensive multi-chain portfolio tracker. Well, they've now just added to that. There's now a new mobile design, cleaner user experience. So it includes lots of extra upgrades there. An all-in-one multi-chain portfolio on the go, everything at your fingertips there. So that is now mobile friendly. So there we go. So if you haven't downloaded, that's pretty cool. And it's got, man, it is really, 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 really comprehensive. So check out all that. Does everything from staking and what else? The DeFi, everything. It's got so much stuff in it. It's really, really clever. So check it out. It's PulseChain Stats. Big shout out to the team there. What else? What else do we say about that? Did I hit the like? I didn't really hit the repost there, but pretty cool there. Covered on a live show. How about that? Let's go. Keep up the awesome work. All right, so that is from the team. Now we're going to get into the ProveX sacrifice, as you guys know. It's slowly tipping away there. Hey, we just hit 1 hour on the live stream. If you guys haven't smashed the subscribe button on YouTube, give it a good old smashing. If you're on X, don't forget to go up to the top and hit the follow button. And of course, if you guys haven't jumped into our strategy club in Discord, it's a private strategy club. I pass a lot of intel in through there every day, just about. And so join up to that. It's only just over $1 a day, so $35 a month. So really good value there. It's not an investment club per se. It's really a strategy intel club. But well worth getting on there. And we've covered just about everything on PulseChain, as you guys know. So well worth doing this. We'll catch you in there as well. We've got some great people in there, TA and everything else in there. So join up today. All right, links in the video description and pinned at the top of the X profile. All right, let's get into the PROVEX sacrifice. There's been a lot of drama around PROVEX, guys. And of course, let's check it out. Let's do a refresh. We're on a day number 9, finishing it up. So number 9. So yeah, about 2.5 hours away from the end of day 9 based on when Richard posted it, but only 47 minutes are based on the rate changes. And at the moment, we're at $2.72 million. We got 54.46 billion points, almost 5,000 sacrifices. Woo! And remember, there was about 104,000 sacrifices, over $1 on the PulseX sacrifice. And what was it about? What did I say? About 48,000, I think it was, on the Pulse sacrifice, just as a comparison. So we're heading towards 5,000 now, almost with day 9 about to close. And we're about to start day 10, which is crazy, right? Crazy. So it's ticking away, 21 days in the base rate. So the first phase is this one here, 21 days. That's ticking away, right? 21 days, and we're almost halfway through. And then the second phase is when the rate rises by 6.25% per day additively. So it goes from $1.0625 to $1.1289. So it really starts climbing up there. And then of course that runs all the way through to day 54, and it also includes a volume bonus as well on top of that, which is up to 3x, and it's based on a proportional ranking of your sacrifice value. And in the last 5 days there, we've got flat rate, right, with no volume bonus, just a flat rate, and that is quite expensive. So just take note of that. And then it ends on day 59 on the 10th of January. So key dates is the last day of the base rate, the first phase, which is day 21, and that is the 2nd of December. We're going to see we could see a lot of volatility on that day, and maybe even in the day ahead of it, or 2 days ahead of it. But definitely that day, I just can't imagine us not having some volatility on the old PulseChain with that. Maybe we don't. I mean, it's always a chance. Maybe it's a counterintuitive play, but I think just intuitively should expect that to be a bit of a down day on PulseChain. Now, then, of course, the next couple of days, we should see some sacrifices go in for the late, come lately people, right? And we did see that with the other PulseChain sacrifices. Just in the last couple of days, we did see sort of still decent sort of sacrifices, and then it just tapered off after that, right? Well, maybe up to when we get to about $1.75 or something, $1.50, it just tapers off. Maybe not even that high. We'll see, $1.50 maybe. And then the flat rate there was just the real latecomers, and then it's over, right? And that's the 10th. So we've got the volume ends on the 4th of January, and then the final sacrifice on the 10th there. So yeah, will Richard stream sometime during there? Don't know. But if he does a New Year's Eve stream, that would be here on day 50. Does he do a stream here on the last day? Does he do one here on the 2nd of December? So we'll see at the beginning of December there. Always possible, right? Now, he was talking about doing marketing, and we haven't seen anything yet. But if you're going to do marketing, you'd have to hurry up. So I don't know whether he's serious about that, because time's ticking, and it does take a couple of days to get all those things set up. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. I don't know. It's all a bit of a fake out. We'll see. At the moment, it looks kind of like that. So that's kind of where we are right now. In terms of the leaderboard, we've had a lot of drama here with the leaderboard and sacrifice pools, to say the least. And the top one here, of course, is the Buckamentals one. This is sitting at $808,000, so it's been pretty impressive so far. And so we're at 21.8 billion points there. And so that's 808 there, number one. Now, the multiplier has been dropping because there's more people sacrificing. So it's at 2.7, but that is the whale price, right? That's the market price. If you think about it, on PulseChain, and PulseX, it was quadruple 041. We're well below that right now, right? So you can go below market price, but that is kind of the whale price, kind of sets the market. And the base rate there is, a deception in a sense, because it's what all the plebs do. that don't sacrifice, and so, but this is kind of a people's whale, and that's the top one right now. So we're going to have a quick look at that one. That is by Chairman Buck Piet, Buck Foot, whatever his name is. But these are the PH team. They seem to have a pretty good reputation. They delivered 4 protocols on the PulseChain. GMX fork, famous. The Aave fork, Fiat, I think it was. The Balancer fork, as well. I'm just forgetting the name now. Balancer fork, and of course the dashboard, fatty dashboard there. So that's kind of the play there. They were going to be on a live stream. I think they may have already done it actually 7 hours ago on RX Max's stream, and they've got their own ProveX pool, which they've set up, right? Their ProveX.com pool. And they've done pretty well, right? So they took a little bit of a fee, as I understand it, to go into that pool, but they've obviously done pretty well. They're $808,000 right now, and so they're the number one. Now, the question, will they hold on to that? At the moment, it looks like no one else is even getting close. We shall see. And so that's been going pretty well. So you really, once again, you're backing the people, the reputation, and they have been protocol leaders. They seem to be pretty consistent. So yeah, it might be that's if you were going to do a sacrifice, you want to get the goods up to 2.7x bonus. They're probably the team to go with. So once again, you have to make your own decision. But based on what I've seen, that's kind of where we are there at the moment. Now, you can go watch that stream as well with RX Max if you want to get a bit more confidence. There we go. Now, we did, with the PulseX sacrifice, we did have a big pool sacrifice with the Magic Carpet Ride team. They did a great job of that. So, and Chairman Buck is probably in that same sort of category. They seem to have a pretty good, reputation and stuff like that. But once again, go do your own due diligence and check out the live stream if you want to get, make a decision there. But it makes sense to get the better rate if you can. Otherwise, you're down at the base rate, right? And if you got a little sacrifice, then you're going to get hardly nothing, $1, right? $1 for 10,000 points. No real big bonus on top of that. So you're going to have to wait for the price to go way high. These guys will be in the money way before you are, obviously. So that is that one there with Buckamentals. So I'll post that link in the chat there. And obviously not promoting it, but in case people want to go check it out, they can do that. So that is the Buckamentals, and that's probably the one that's probably got the better reputation there. All right, so that's that. Now we do have another one, of course, which is the X1. We talked about that in the chart there. That's from B Roots and that. So let's pull that up actually. Let's pull up B Roots and Ian Heinisch. These are two of our biggest influencers. I'm not impressed by this either. Pretty critical of it. I'm always a big fan of B Roots and Ian Heinisch promoting PulseChain, but not a big fan of the setup that they've done with this token. So yeah, let's scroll back down here a little bit here. So this one here, number one is B Roots here. Number one is the GME and GameStop of the PulseChain. What is it all about? Now, I think you've asked me there. Someone's asked me there. Was it Sean? Hey, Superman, do you have any thoughts on one? Yeah, so we're going to talk about that now. So not a big fan of this. So let's have a look at CryptoSolve. He's one of our top 3 crypto, analytical influencers, and he's got some good commentary on that. So CryptoSolve says the ridiculous token distribution and completely flawed tokenomics aside, there are 2 things that aren't being talked about with this token, about the X1, this one token that these 2 are promoting. And that is the accumulated wrapped ETH is entirely derived from the tax on the token, selling Pulse and wrapped ETH, in effect creating $54,000 worth of additional sell pressure on Pulse. So it does put down pressure on Pulse while they're accumulating the ETH. And at the time of the writing, they accumulated about 18 ETH, and that's no doubt going up all the time with the volume on the token. None of that wrapped ETH has actually been sacrificed, so that's important. You're relying on people once again. Bro, we're ranked number 3 is totally irrelevant until the ETH actually hits the sack. That is true too. The owner of the wallet that the ETH is going to has to manually do this whenever they feel like it, and you better hope they feel like it at some point. Say what you will about ProveX pool, and that's the other one we just looked at, right, from Buckamentals. We're not a big fan of the SAC pools in the first place. Too much trust. So that is the big criticism there. So you are, once again, trusting the character of the people that you're going in with, right? So there we go. At least they're sacking consistently to the lock into the time-weighted average price on a regular basis, and that's why we said if you're going to do one, you might as well, check out the bucket mentals. They seem to have their characters seem to be fairly good, and they're clipping and ticket a little bit, as I understand it. But they're actually sacrificing, so that's something you might want to consider. But once again, you have to do that on your own discretion and volition there. So that is the play there on that one, and so yeah, that is where we are. Now, we do get comments like this, and bro, you're just mad you missed the gains. Nah, bro, we're just sick of watching this community fall for grifts this time and time again. This token entirely benefits early buyers. This is the problem with the one project as well. There's many problems, I think, but this is some of them. Early buyers, latecomers should treat it solely as speculative meme coin. You won't receive any reasonable portion of the resulting sacrifice token distribution compared to the guys spending 100 to 200 to buy the billions of tokens well over 8 hours before it was even publicly announced. So there's a lot of front running by the team guys. Presumably that's the people that are promoting it, right? So it's a meme now, that's it, and it's a cleverly designed meme that continues to disproportionately benefit the early buyers with every buy and sell tax there. So there's a lot of problems with it, and as I understand it, it's going to be proportionally based. The sacrifice benefit will proportionally be based on who holds the token, excluding the LP and stuff like that. So it's look at the fine print, but it's not looking good, and I tend to agree with CryptoSolve quite clearly on this. So yeah, just not the one to go for in my view. Now you can do whatever you want, but not looking good there. Oops, none of the ETH acquired by the one token. It's got the $1, right? That's the token that was on the deck screen that we looked at earlier. Has actually been sacrificed with the 7% drop in ETH price since their last brag. That's number 3 spot is looking shaky. Keep buying it though. B Roots and the crew are getting a risk-free sack bag on your dime if that ETH ever gets sacked. So you're kind of contributing to their bags, right? Because they've got a disproportionate holding of bags, and so they're winning all over the place. Winning. Early bag holders share of the sack that you're contributing. So it's not looking that good. So it leaves you kind of with the option of bunker mentals or not at all, right? It's kind of the play. Now that's the address there, of course, if anyone's interested, and it's 7BB3 there, and it shows you the amount that they've got in the wallet at the time. So it's 55K at this stage, and of course they haven't sacked any of it yet, and you can see here that's not sacked yet at the moment. So take note of that. All right, so the wallet is so that's B Roots are of course are promoting that. Like I say, I always like it when they promote PulseChain, but I think this is a piece of crap. Okay, so is that the is that the answer you wanted? It's a piece of crap. Yeah. I just avoid it as best you can. All right, so there we go. There's 2 easy choices. Now the other third person, of course, in the play, which is going to be on the battlefield for the sacrifices, is Mr. Rack and Michelle, right? So Rack and Michelle in the play there. Let's quickly go through him. He was talking about sacrificing and then not sacrificing and then sacrificing. So we'll see what he does at the end of the day. He did say 17 hours ago that it was a pathetic number 1 sacrifice there. This is the Bucket Mentals one, of course, that's leading the pack there. And it's all fun and games, right? They like a little bit of fun and games, and we can appreciate that. And of course, he's got Coinwell coming up, right? So Coinwell is expected to launch. That is his big priority. And so we'll see what he does. I mean, it's just what it is. A bit of teasing back and forth, but Coinwell needs to be successful. That's his main. That's a business, and it's multi-chain. And he could actually build something really incredible with it if he does it, in the right way. And I'm sure he's working on all that. So what do we mean by that? So Coinwell, obviously, what institutional clients does he have, or high value worth clients does he have that will participate? What he can garner in terms of any of his connections, potentially with Donald Trump Jr. into the Trump family activities, possibly even USD1. What path to a NASDAQ listing potentially that he could do, anything around tokenization, the Genius Act and stablecoin, anything like that would be pretty interesting aspects there, and particularly obviously Saudi money as well, the old Saudi money there, and that is of significance, and potentially anything even building into a broader White House digital strategy. So we'll see what the extent of that is. Now, some people will say, well, maybe the connections aren't that solid. And some of those people say, well, we'll wait and see. So it's kind of a wait and see camp, and we'll see what it's the magic time. Now we know that quite a few years Rackham's been wanting to launch protocols on PulseChain, but of course the SEC pretty much dumped on that, right? Anyone who's a venture capitalist like Rackham can't reasonably launch them at the time. And of course, there was a lot of irrational FUD around Saudi investors, which was just ridiculous. People were fudding their own bags, which was kind of illogical too. So we'll see what happens there on both accounts by Coinwell. Now the market's obviously on a pullback, so he's not going to launch right now. And so we'll probably move to our expectation of a launch now to the beginning of December possibly. So that's kind of when we're expecting it now. They did talk about a Q4 launch, but of course market conditions matter, and so they'll be waiting to see a bit of an up in momentum and tempo, and I guess the feeling's got to be good, and we might see them launch then. So I'm at the moment expecting the beginning of December. Remember Triple Dad, who's well-respected community member, one of the Magic 369 team that did the sacrifice for the PulseX, etc. He's involved in the operations and a co-founder from the looks of it. So that is coming up. We also saw Ms. Rochelle talking about Bria, and of course also applications potentially around sacrifices and things like that. So I don't know whether it was just a lot of jokes, but we got that coming up as well with Coinbound and potentially Coinaki, and of course what was the other one? Coin Mafia, I think it is, from Mr. Wu, who seems to be working in their team as well. So we've got lots of little pieces of puzzles out there. We'll see what the actual image looks like once they launch, but that's the next big thing after, probably looks like it'll be after Railgun from Liberty Swap. So we've got Railgun, we got Coinwell. They look pretty heavyweights coming. That's what we're at, the big players that we're looking to see come out there. And then possibly Vault 369 from Fast Abdul. That is definitely shaping up to be quite a heavyweight on PulseChain. And that's going to be multi-chain as well. So we'll see how that does also. Now, here's the challenge. A lot of these protocols are multi-chain. We already know that all these players have a decent following in PulseChain, but not so much on other chains. And that's the challenge, right? So if you're going to launch on base chain, BNB chain, any of these sort of chains, you've got to have a sort of a following. How do you get that, right? There's probably a few ways if you've got enough money to do that. But the other one is, of course, influencers, right? So if you have good access to influencers on PulseChain, which are relatively organized, but there's only a few really active. If you think about the PulseChain influencers, there's only a few that are actually active. Like, for example, the only large streaming channel is the Crypto Night Show. We do have regular shows coming from the Crypto Paradise, and we do have regular shows coming from RH Max, David Feder, a few others as well in the mix there. C7. There are people that are doing regular shows, but out of all the influencers that we have, we've only still got a fraction that are doing regular shows. Now, one of the cool things we've seen recently is a lot of X Spaces being set up by actually a lot of the female influencers in the crypto chat there, like Tam, Crypto Girl, and others. So that's really, really, really positive. And of course, we've got a lot of the existing guys that are doing spaces like Execute KR and many people like that. So there are activities out there, but once again, that's still all PulseChain, and getting multi-chain coverage is a bit more challenging. So that's something for them to think about. But we'll look forward to it. They could do giveaways, promotions online onto those chains. Had it reach out to influencers on other chains. That would be pretty interesting. But they're all not as well organized generally as PulseChain. PulseChain's a pretty well organized community. So we'll see how that all plays out. All right. So that is coming up. So we're excited about that. Railgun coming, man. That's going to be massive, guys. That is a massive thing. Coinwell potentially very massive. And we're excited to where we'll let go. Vault 369 is a nice surprise to the upside from Fast Abdul. I think that could really scale. So it's going to be fun too. And both of these will be bringing new liquidity forks, right? So we'll have technically 6 liquidity forks that I'm aware of on PulseChain. So we'll jump from 4 to 6, and one of them will be multi-chain, and the other one will be, I guess, corporate based. So that both of them have their differences from the first 4, right? The first 4. So and the first 4, have various, different features too. Some of them are part of bigger ecosystems like the Power City ones. So yeah, it's going to be fun to see. All right, where we get to there? We're up to an hour and 20 minutes. So I think that's enough talking. So let's have a look, finish through this. So we're at 2.7 million, 54 billion points. We've got the Buckamentals at the top there with the big sacrifice there. Maybe we might see at some stage See that $1 come in, question mark, and then Rackham Rochelle coming in, question mark over that too. Other than that, we've got some other sacrifices here: 64K, 50K, 40,000, 34. Now I don't know whether that second one there is Rackham Rochelle or not, but he may have already contributed a little bit there. There was some money bridged over yesterday. People were saying Rackham Rochelle, but I don't know. I don't know whether that's the case. Now, in terms of recents there, we can see that 2,250,000 is Ethereum, and that's essentially a big chunk of that 2.7, but is becoming a smaller part of that because of the Bunker sacrifice pool has ramped up PulseChain sacrifice, and it's now at 286K. So that's been a big theme there. BSC are now at 47, so it's getting closer to 50K. Base and Solana are the two other decent chains, 43, 41, and everything else is smaller than that, right? All that chains. So that's kind of a summary of Pruvex. What else can we say? I think that's it. It's another day. It's another day. Did Richard Hart make anything? I don't know. We haven't gone to Richard Hart. Let's wrap up with Richard Hart. That's probably a good place to go. Richard Hart, the Lionheart. Don't know what's he been saying. You've got a few little updates from him, so let's go through that. You've got a couple of little updates. I think we'll go. Yeah, let's read a couple of these. So Ethereum is down 42% in 3 months, says Richard. But you don't see me Shizzo posting about Vitalik because he's working hard building free and open software that makes Ethereum and PulseChain better. And nearly every hodling his giant bag of ETH. Some communities aren't the same. They cry and whine and beg. Weird that. I'm sure Richard likes this. He likes the crying, but the cry fagging, crying, whining. He likes it. Pretty funny. If Ethereum can be down 42% in 3 months, whatever it is that you're holding can be down bigly too. If you spend time spreading the word about the technology you like virtues instead of Shizzo posting, you'll feel less dumb when the price goes up from wherever you were crying. It's also funny that people think they have to cry fag to people that have positions 1,000 times larger than theirs in an asset. People that are down 1,000x more dollars than you due to 1,000x larger position might actually already want all the same things you want, but be smart enough to not add insult to injury. Part of the reason why people buy things is to feel good, and perhaps more than just a part. Cry fagging isn't an attraction strategy. Cry fagging is what you're hoping to inspire enemy forces to do. Get them demoralized so you can't organize. Pro tip, it is what your enemies want for you. Maybe don't do it. There we go. It's got a horrible picture there of some nightmare AI kid doing something. 16 hours ago, sir, I can't promote these items. They're just too affordable, said no good salesman ever. Sometimes people say things that sound true but aren't. For instance, people say you can't market anything that the price is down on. Oh, well then, why, when you look back at many charts, do you see the price go from a dip up to up massively? Did magic people that weren't marketed to do that to the chart make them go up down, make them go from down to up, or what it just more normally onboarding and the passage of time? So there's a few little English grammar stuff there, but yes, I think reflexivity exists, and people prefer to pay more than less for something. Speculative instruments. Well, it's always the case, right? So people always do that. However, lots of people do in fact get onboarded while prices are low, and in the long run, their portfolios prefer it. That is true. And you will obviously see Tom Lee buying all that ETH up while the prices are down, and everyone else is probably in fear mode or something, or maybe struggling to raise the capital. So there we go. That is from Richard there. And then we had 6 hours ago, which I thought was kind of cool. If you're mad about prices, comment here. And of course, no comments allowed, which I thought was funny. I have to hit the like button on that. 1 hour ago, in life, you can't control everything that happens to you. You can control how you respond. Keep doing what works. Eventually, reality yields. There we go. I like that part about controlling how you respond, because that will actually help you a lot in dealing with a lot of challenging things that come your way. So there we go. All right, so that's from Richard today. And a Prefix sacrifice is almost at the end of day 9, and day 10 is about to start. So it's onwards and upwards from there. All right, an hour and 25 minutes. Not bad for the show. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll be back on again tomorrow. I may even do a double show tonight. We'll see. We'll see how things go on. It won't be on PulseChain. It'll be on a different topic, but you may see that coming up as well. Very, very cool. All right, so I think that's it. Take care, everybody. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, hit the bell. Catch you on tomorrow's show. Your host, Superman, in the house, about to leave the house. And yeah, I don't know. I'm going into the sun. The sun's outside. It's shining bright. All right, take care. Bye for now.